the way that I learned the Seki-Ryu Jiu-Jitsu was it's about combat. Everything is combat. There's things you can do in combat, there's things you can't do. You can't roll around the ground in combat. You have to stay up to survive. So most of the techniques that we show are with control, with balance, and seeing the whole picture, not just seeing one little thing. The terrain, the weather, all this plays into how you must learn your art, how you practice. Just going through standard katas, we don't do standard katas. We never have. And all my teachers, none of them did standard katas. It's not that that's bad. This is the way I learned, old school. It isn't a great way to learn because you just have so much information shoved at you at one time that it's hard to retain any of it. That's why I always ask to see it 3 times so I can see feet, hips, head and shoulder, to see how he moved. I wanted to see this. When I was uke, I felt him moving these ways. So this is second video is your hips. We're not in a stance like this because I have to adjust to move. You don't want to adjust to move. I stand. My knees are bent. My head is up. I'm using 3/6, my peripheral vision at all times. My hands are just resting here. My knees are bent forward so that my weight is settled. I'm ready here to react in any way. Now to move, I just don't take a step. You just don't take a step because to take a step, I'm off balance. If I was to kick and I got into a big stance, I still have to shift. Yes, but in combat, you may not have that luxury. So you're here, and all I'm doing is I'm just moving this hip 1/8 of an inch over. That 1/8 of an inch allows me to then bring this foot and come back, to come forward, to go to the side. If I need to go to the other side, I can come here, and then I can shift the weight, and all I do is by shifting the weight, I shift the hip and the knee. This allows me for sweeps. This allows me for moving in a different direction. So you have to be balanced. So every time it's a minute shift of the hips, and it's all about the hips. You got to have, this has got to be up. Just like in Muso Jikiden Shinai Jitsu, it's not bending over. When you cut, it's about maintaining this posture and perfect balance so that once you've taken this step, the next move, you can take another step. You have to be able to move. If you can't move, and you can't pivot on gravel, if you get on slopes, grass, you have to pick your feet up. So you're here, and it's the minute little shift of the hip which allows you to pick the foot up and move in the direction that you need to go. And each time you have to be set. When I am up in the mountains and I'm walking on trails, I'm not walking straight. Sometimes I'll be sideways if I'm having to go up a hill. It's about maintaining your balances in all situations. This is what we do. Our knees are bent. Can't see your toes. My chest is back. My head is I'm always looking. My eyes are searching. Peripheral vision is a must. All I need to do is just shift. See, I just turn my hip just a little bit. This allows me to do sweeps. If I'm doing sweeps, I learned my sweeps from Hayward Nishioka, top judoka, back in the 60s. I started in 1966. Is you can do practice sweeps like that, but you see, you're kind of binding yourself. What you need to do is put the foot out, and then it allows you to have a much more room of sweep. You have to make sure that the foot, you just can't be stationary foot. You have to move, and it's about presentation. In other words, Put the foot this way. Put the foot this way. Depends on how you want to move. You just can't pivot, because can you pivot on wet grass or gravel, sandy surface? Yeah, maybe. But are you totally balanced? You have to be balanced. That is very important in Seki-Ryu. If you're not balanced, you are not going to have control. You must be in control. Everything you do is in control. So this is very important. Just a little shift, and I'm able to change the foot, step away. Now for me to move, oh, it's wide stretch, you can't move. All I need to do is just shift the hip, just an eighth, quarter of an inch, and my feet, I'm not pivoting. I'm placing the feet on how I want to go. This is very, very important. Open the hips up to get out of the way. One of the things, the first thing is the T formation. Is you have something. I want to be in a T position. I'll show you from two different angles. So on here, I want to move. Shift the weight to the left foot. See, it's kind of at an angle. This foot's at an angle because I'm coming in. I'm not stepping straight. I'm coming in and stepping like this or here. This gives me the T. I'm in the top of a T. Now I have control of this elbow, this knee. I can do this. Why am I able to do this? Because I shifted just that little bit. This allows me to pick the knee. You don't sweep down like this. Pick the knee up. From this side, is that you're here. He comes to come out. You see, I'm in a T. I'm controlling this situation. I have his head. I have his hip. I can stop his hip. I can immediately take this and go into an arm bar. I have control of him. So you go, well, what about, you get the guy and you're in control, but he can still hit you. So when he throws that punch, see, all of a sudden, the punch isn't anything because I have turned his head. Or he can throw that punch. Now, look at his balance. Now I can sweep. I want him away from me. Okay?